Okie dokie. So we are back to this project. You kind of see we are getting the insulation on the walls. This is that lower valance area, and that is that upper beam there. What we're doing here, you can kind of see here, basically we're going to end up putting that insulation in there. And then between each one of these beams, so from that beam to this beam, I'll have another piece in here. So another piece right in this area between each one of these beams. That way it's it'll have two layers of this underneath the tanks. But you can see I'm getting it snug right against this edge, and you see it's all really insulated in there now compared to what it was for sure. And then this side, you can kind of see this side too. Going around that septic tank over there was a unique little item there because of all that like black great stuff that they put around there. And again, back to my ongoing complaints about like the level of adhesive that's literally just like everywhere underneath here. Like you can care a little. I mean, you could care a little, right? All right, on with the stopping to the complaining. So this side obviously was way more trying than the other side. So, the boss coming in checking on me. So anyway, so I insulated this side. I also insulated, you can kind of see it right there. I also insulated that upper, just like I did on those, right? The upper and the lower. I did that on all of these, and I did it on the other side of the tanks too. So, but you can see now we have a lot better insulation. There we go. So tank, you can see the insulation up in there. And then this is that perimeter wall. Like, can't really get in there. So this is that perimeter wall that you see, right? Here's your thunder tube and everything. So there's a perimeter wall, and then there's insulation up there too. So I'm really hoping that helps protect these lines, and it allows them to be able to maintain a little bit more heat. You can kind of see that there as we're going along. You can see all that insulation. Now, up here in this area right here, which is the transition between where the tanks are and this lower frame support, and then this is that lower valance, right? So if you guys are looking at it, you have that piece of corrugated that basically kind of goes around, wraps around this thing, right? So this area, because it has all these fuel lines and evaporation lines and the electrical and all the hydraulic lines and everything else, there's a lot more to deal with on this side. Which is kind of sucky, actually. It would have been kind of nice that because all these water lines and stuff were here, if this stuff here was on the other side, because the other side is a lot easier to deal with. My hands got pretty beat up this time. Look like an old man. Well, I mean, whatever. I am old. It looks kind of cheesy, but all of the lines actually have the double-sided tape and insulation like stuck into every single little hole. And then because all of this is different elevations and heights and everything else, each piece kind of represents something different and is protecting something different. Like this is actually tucked in next to that. This is that condensation line or evaporation line from the tank, and from this tank and everything, or from this tank, But and this looks kind of cheesy, but that corrugated and that other, like that piece of insulation like this will come around and it'll cover all this up, and this will help protect this from that tire slinging all the snow and ice and everything else up next to it. So to kind of keep this pretty protected. Sounds nice. And then you can kind of see there what I did on that side. I kind of filleted that a little bit so that the lines could come through, still be maintained and protected. You kind of see there where we had the either overflows or vents, whatever they are, kind of coming through. And then what I did here, you can kind of see where it comes up around the tanks right here, and then comes up and stays. The straps that are on here, I put double-sided tape on these, and then I put more double-sided tape here because there'll be another piece of insulation and corrugated that comes around, like this corrugated will come around. It'll have a piece of insulation on it, and then I'll be using those screws to kind of drive through here and attach it like it was before. So you can kind of see there's a hole right there, and that's where that other piece was kind of screwed in and attached. But it kind of went along here. You can kind of see where I did tape here, but then I did like I think 3 strips on each one of those straps, because there's a total of 4 of these straps right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 straps on that. But that's how all this is actually anchored, like all this stuff. And you can see, I mean, it's up there. She's not going anywhere. But, and yeah, that's kind of cheesy looking. This side actually looks a lot better because you can kind of see like all of that was a nice little consolidated area. And then there was no water lines or anything like that other than those either vent tubes or overflows. So this one was way easier to do on this side. It was way easier to get the insulation up on the upper part, lower part, everything. This one was way more of a nightmare to deal with, but this one obviously needs the insulation to keep it safe. So anyway, so that's kind of how all this is going to look. In the morning, it's nighttime for me, so in the morning I'm going to cut the other piece for here, put all this tape on it and everything, and cut that other piece and go underneath here and kind of button this section up. I'll kind of try to show you again a little slower what we did here. Just think, this is that perimeter wall, right? So that's that perimeter wall right there, and everything goes against this bad boy. We have driven in the rain and everything else, and it's just, yeah, I mean, that water is just really all over this thing. So I know that snow and ice and everything's just going to be all over this rail. You can kind of see that rail. So I'll be pretty happy. So if you guys kind of wondered about like the jacks and stuff, if you look through that hole, you can kind of see that insulation all smacked up against that. You can see the insulation in there. You can see the insulation all completely smacked up against all that and inside there. So I'm going to come back in here and put a little bit of that great stuff in that hole there. And you can see that when I put the insulation in, it just kind of popped this out. But I mean, you can see the insulation right there, right? Like, but probably going to put a little drop of great stuff in there, let it expand out, put a little shot in there. And again, you know, another little shot right there, but you can see that insulation right against it, right? And I mean, I'm pushing on it. I'm not really going to push that away. So, and then it matches like all up in here. I don't even know if I can get that picture for you, but yeah, there you go. And this is the bottom. You can see it there. And this is that hydraulic jack, right? So those are all the holes in there, and that's your water tank right there. So if you're using this in any kind of cold climate, like all of that's hanging wide open, and the wind's blowing in there, everything's blowing in there. There's nothing protecting that thing, nothing. So, okay. Then you guys can see how that actually goes up and around the tank right there. But there'll be a second layer, right? So there'll be a layer that's about the thickness of this beam coming across here. You know, that one's on top. There'll be the other one that'll be like even with the beam, because I want the corrugated to kind of go against this if I can, without having insulation going over this part. So I think that'll be fine. Honestly, even if a couple of these beams are exposed still, the only thing that's on top of this is the corrugated with that piece of Mylar, because I'm not taking them off of this part. Like I'm going all out on this one. So the back of it I didn't, but this one I totally am, because this is what matters most to me. Being able to go anywhere, anytime in the Idaho Edition. Okay. All right, so moving forward, I left that little flap on there. I don't know if I'm going to leave that on there or not. I actually cut the piece off because it came almost to this beam right here. Like that one right there, it almost came to that one. So it kind of cleared this one and almost went to that one. I could have left it, but I still have to insulate up here. And then I'm going to build all the bracketry and everything that I need to mount that heater, that little diesel heater over there. So I kind of thought about maybe using the furnace, and I'll kind of show you what I mean. Somebody wants some biscuits. And her name is Mama, if you guys even care to know. What's up, Mom? Yeah. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean about having the kind of the heat come down here. So I'm going to point this out to you. You see this hole right here? And you can actually see the line right there. Maybe you can't. A little bit of aluminum in there. Closer up there. See it right there? That's that aluminum duct. That's the one that goes like to the steps. Like your first step that you come in. There it is. Oh, look. Look, I care about cleaning up. Let's make sure we don't have any shavings, because shavings never wore a hole in anything. But God, see, look at that. Look at all the glue, man. Look at all the glue. Not only that, but ooh, yeah. You guys already kind of know how I feel about this stuff, right? Like, I don't know, whatever. I mean, whatever. More of that glue. I mean, okay. All right, so let me kick out, and I'll kind of show you what I mean about, I kind of hemmed and hawed about the diesel heater thing. So, 1 second, the camera's gonna get trashy. Yeah. Okay, so that is the hole that's by, you know, like the black tank and one of the gray tanks, right? I actually kind of thought about maybe putting a T in there. Let me turn on some lights. There we go. So I actually kind of thought about putting a T in right there and kind of letting the heat kind of kick out down there with a little diffuser, because that's the one that goes right here, right? So let me show you this. So this is where they cut that whole section back, because this floor was jacked up, like back there. It was kind of jacked up back there. And so they had to like move everything, right? So when they did, and you can kind of see a little dimple right here. I don't know if you can see it or not. But anyway, so this whole section of the floor, you see this little dark line in here? This right here, when I was driving down the road, I had dirt coming through right here. Like, see that? That's dirt coming through the floor. Not sealed. Not sealed. Anyway, so when they were fixing this floor, they had to take it loose or whatever it was. Not exactly sure what the deal was. So what they did was, there's a gap here now along this whole edge. And so they just riveted this piece in and then caulked it. Which, I mean, obviously I'm kind of complaining about mine, but now that I'm looking at this, I mean, nah, mine's still pretty bad. Okay, so then on this side over here, I thought about teeing in right here, because this is the water tank side, right? So there's your electrical that comes in, and that's what, internet or something. Or not internet, cable maybe. But there's your furnace. And so I kind of thought about teeing into these. So just so you guys know, these two right here put out a ton of volume. This one, which is that one, not so much. And then there's two more, or actually one more. No, there's two. There's two. So one goes to the bathroom, one goes to the bedroom. The one in the bedroom, like, I don't think it could move a feather. Like, there's not a whole lot that comes through. However, I don't know that it really matters, because heat rises. And if you guys own these things or looking at these things, I mean, heat rises, and that's pretty much just a straight grade straight up to the bedroom. All right, so if you leave that door open, which we don't have kids, so it doesn't matter to us, but if you leave that door open, you can absolutely just cook yourself up there. But yeah, so I was thinking about teeing into this one and teeing into this one. That one's already got a hole, so that'd be easy to deal with. This one right here is super easy to punch a hole through the floor. There's nothing underneath this area right here, so it'd actually be pretty easy. I tried to talk my wife into allowing me to put the diesel heater here, and then I would modify like the drawer that goes in here, because then it could just kind of sit back here. Like I'd move those lines forward. Like I would move them forward a little bit, and then that diesel heater could just kind of sit back there. And I thought that would be kind of cool, but she wasn't game, because I was going to shorten this like this much, so there wouldn't be much of a drawer there. I mean, it'd be like a foot deep or something like that, because it doesn't go all the way to the end anyway, because the electrical's there. But so I'd shorten it up a little bit, enough for that little heater, because that heater's pretty small. I mean, honestly, it's pretty small. Depending on your age, it's about the size of like a thermos, like one of those old Stanley thermoses that you used to carry to work, you know, with coffee or, you know, pretty much coffee with liquor in it. But anyway, so you can kind of see that dark spot. Maybe you can't. You can kind of see that dark spot through the floor. So that thing had nothing but dirt coming through it, and it was just horrible. So in case anybody's now this video is getting pretty long in the tooth here. These are actually triples. Oh, actually these ones aren't triples. This one's for the other piece of equipment. I think these are triples. Yeah, see the triple lug. I really like these triple lug ones. They look pretty good. You get a bigger space. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. There we go. But and I'm kind of beating the floor up a little bit, because I'm just driving over the top of this. I'm not taking them out. I guess technically if I mark the floor, I could remember where to put them back. But what I do is I put a strap over. So these are the straps I'm using. It's like keepers. So this part of the strap is out of a different kit. You can see it's a different color. And then this is from a different kit. And the reason for that is because I need it to be straight here. And I need this one to be able to go around the tire and be straight. And what I do is I put a strap over each tire in that Bronco. And I've probably put 10 or 12,000 miles on this thing. That thing has never moved. Like, it doesn't even rub the floor. So the other thing that we have, which sits right here, I've got it kind of anchored down here and here and here and like here. And then I have another, so the center of it anchors that way. And then the center of my rig anchors that way. And I just did it against the wall. It seemed okay. But anyway, this one right here rocks, right? Because I can't strap the tires down, because there's no way to do that, because it's not on a rail. And it's too wide to turn sideways. But yeah, it just kind of sits there and just rocks. But the Bronco doesn't move at all with these straps. So if anybody wants to know about those, you can let me know. Other than that, I'm pretty sure you got it worked out. You can kind of tell here that we actually took everything out. We took the bed out. We took the patio out. And when they redid the trim on this door, they put these back in, but they didn't put any, and I mean any, of the retainers back in. You can see here, none of the retainers back in for the patio. They just gave me like, well, actually they didn't even do that. They literally threw them in that drawer up there. They just threw all the retainers in that drawer. Like, it's my problem to put it back together. And it was because when I dropped it off, we didn't have any of this stuff in here. So I'm assuming that they thought that, oh, well, maybe he's not going to use it. And they took it upon themselves to not put it back. So now I magically get to eventually put that back on and use it. But, and then this stuff chips off. Not exactly sure why it chips off so easy, but it does chip off super easy. And then that's my Starlink. I basically just went through the roof. So this was, I think, like a TV outlet or something. I don't know. I'm not using it. I don't watch TV, but I do watch like Netflix and stuff. So I watch TV, but just not that kind of TV. Like not cable TV or dish or anything. Anyway, I don't like watching the news. But anyway, so that one right there actually goes right straight through the ceiling, like through the roof. And then I have another box on top, like a box on top that's actually got clips on it and it seals. And then my Starlink comes into it and then it goes down. I mean, don't hold me to anything. I mean, I'm like a fart in a skillet when it comes to remembering to do stuff. Like for videos, like I'm like, hey, check this out. And then I literally get off somewhere else, right? I'm sure you guys have seen it. Anyway, if you've actually watched the video this long, which I highly doubt, thank you. But hopefully they're useful. Give me a thumbs up if it really matters to you. If it doesn't, I mean, I kind of don't care anyway. But yeah, these are those. Like, remember the brackets in the doors like these? Yeah, I don't have any of them. So, and I obviously took this out because my Bronco sits like, let's see, where's the fridge? So the front of that window, when I open the door on the Bronco, it's like this far from that window. When I open the door on it and get out, the front of the Bronco is probably, if this is the window, the front of the Bronco is probably like right here. Like right here. So, and then the cart that we have is in the back. So I try to put the lion's share of the weight right here and then put the cart in the back. That way it keeps good tongue weight. We don't really use anything up here either. That's actually insulation that we bought when we were in Las Vegas and never ended up using that. But yeah, this is kind of what I did. And this is what I did because that's too far of a span. And it seems really cheesy, but if anybody really needed to know, what I did was I just wadded that up and taped it together. Because when this sits in here, this will actually just sag out. Like it'll sag out like that. And so I kind of put that in there. And it really... kind of see that there. That worked pretty slick. In Vegas, it really helped out, but it also turned this thing into a dungeon. What's up, Ma? So I've heard that Camperland sells some kind of a covering for this that looks like this stuff here. I think I'm going to call them and find out about that because I tried to contact the company that builds these. And the reason for that is right here is where that front clamp is. And I would really like it if like this thing came to right here and went across, because we have these in here because it was so hot that I kind of thought having these in here would help. It didn't seem to make any difference. But I wanted to be able to have one that was kind of cut right here, because when we tow the Bronco, this thing's like folded forward. And it would be kind of cool if it was, you know, just flush right here. But, and then you guys can kind of, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but this piece right here is actually like tilted up. I don't know if you can see that or not. Their excuse is that there's welds right there that they don't want to grind down. And so it causes this to kick up. And my camper seems to be the only one that I've seen that kicks up like that. So I guess it's me. And then you can see the little bellow in the wall right there where it bellows out. Sup? Yeah, all right. Well, most likely it's she's coming to get me because she's kind of like my dog. And so my wife is probably hailing me to come in, and she's here to enforce that. So Okay, well, you guys have a good night or day or whenever you're watching this. And I'll try to get another one of where I'm actually putting the heater in. And that's going to be a video all by itself. And it may be long, but maybe not as long as this one. All right, thanks. Have an awesome day. I may redo this one and shorten it down, but I kind of doubt it. All right, bye.